Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR 2. If they made a show called White Mirror that was about all the positive aspects of the human-technology relationship, what would be the plot of certain episodes? A teenager in Vietnam is killed by a landmine and his parents decide to donate his organs. One of the receivers of his organs learns about the donor just before they go to college. Years later, the receiver has completed the invention of technology that will quickly and effectively locate buried landmines. Crap dude, that's actually really touching. Do I upvote? Do I downvote? Well, it's just a virtual upvote. It's not like it'll cost you an arm and a leg. A bedridden grandmother in the hospital is able to virtually attend her grandkid's birthday parties and play with him every day. My mother actually had a friend that we barely knew, but we accepted her Facebook friend request out of courtesy, and she absolutely gushes about seeing photos of our kids on Facebook. She sends them presents and cards. She knows what they like. We've even started having Facebook calls with her. She's so warm and giving and gives them 100% of her attention, which is something parents just can't do as often as kids would like. They all go running around the room holding the phone up to different things, saying stuff like, "Ruth, it snowed. Look, my wife got nervous yesterday because they took the phone outside to play in the snow and were having so much fun throwing snowballs at the phone. I told her screw it. If they break the phone doing something like that, I'll buy a new one. It's worth it. She's like part of our family. And it's all because technology initially allowed her to passively participate with us. The relationship grew organically over time the way relationships used to before the internet. You'd see people frequently at work or at the store or in your neighborhood. Over time, have longer conversations, and ultimately grow to be friends. The same thing happened here. It started with a like or a comment here or there, then a couple messages, then a virtual birthday card. It enables people to remain in communication with so many more people passively when used correctly. Our kids have never even met her physically, though. Her immune system is too delicate to accept visitors. But even through a 6-inch screen, it's like she's really here. I can only imagine what it will be like when virtual reality lets them really be together. Actually, that really helped out a friend when her anxiety was too bad and she couldn't even leave her room. Whereas before she would have had to just scream, "No landline in room." Now she could just let us know through Messenger or something that she needed help. Continues chopping. You don't get a choice. Someone uses an app to get food delivered to them and they get a little bit more food than they ordered. 11 nuggets. Today I am God. Jazz musician living in New Orleans nearly drowns during Hurricane Katrina. He survives, but he suffers a horrible ear infection from the toxic flood waters, which subsequently causes him to go deaf. Without music, the man falls into a great bout of depression and can hardly cope with life anymore. After nearly a decade of hopelessness and despair, the man drives to a nearby bridge with plans to jump and end it once and for all. On the way to the bridge, he gets a flat tire. A Good Samaritan stops and assists him with changing it. Turns out the Good Samaritan knows sign language. The two talk for a while and the Good Samaritan invites him to the lab he works at, where him and a team of engineers are working on designing the first pair of bone conduction headphones. Using the musician as a test subject, they successfully perfect the headphones, and the musician hears the sweet sound of jazz for the first time in 10 years. His depression fades away, and the man becomes happier than he was before the incident. And if the happy ending doesn't work, then maybe he gets hit by a bus or something. Or better yet, a semi-truck filled with the new bone conduction headphones shipping out. Here is the thread in case anyone wanted to read it, and here is the follow-up. Well, I hope she got a CO detector instead. A lonely person finds a not horrible group of people with similar interests and eventually meets up with some of them in real life. When I watched that episode, the first thing I said was, I wonder how many incels watch this, and thought Daly was the hero. When I was in high school, our English class had a term focused on sci-fi with the final assignment was writing your own short story. Short version: a man travels into the future but becomes trapped. Having a pregnant wife at home, he needs to figure out the math to travel back in time, but it will take years to solve. He receives an archive of videos from his wife, starting with her sending him "I miss you" messages, but after the birth of his daughter it becomes a chronicle of her life. Birth, childhood, school, adulthood, marriage, children, and eventually death. He watches his daughter's entire life and it motivates him to get home. It ends with the time traveler, now an old man, traveling back in time, but his body can't handle the trip. Sad ending. He dies with a letter to his family apologizing for being there but thanking them for sharing it with him. I failed that assignment because it passed the word limit and probably wasn't very good. Thanks, now I'm sobbing in a Walgreens. Asterisk white mirror. These are Parsi tears smiley face. A dude who likes running loses his legs, gets robot limbs. A cookie being allowed to live in their world via an artificially made body. Someone trying to find fulfillment in a world without a lot of worries over necessity. Eventually they do. A dude who likes running loses his legs, gets robot limbs. Oscar Pistorius before getting all murdery. A cookie. White Christmas, I think. The NSA agent tracking someone's communication finds someone suffering and helps them out with money anonymously. Didn't Netflix personally contact a guy after he binged a very large amount of TV at once? I found it. np.reddit.com. Set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The story of a woman who breaks into a warehouse searching for a teddy bear to cheer up her terminally ill little sister. As she is searching, she encounters robot guard dogs that, upon detecting the intruder, embark on helping her find the correct row and shipping pallet on which the box of teddy bears are stored, and then merge to form a Voltron-like mega robot dog and ride her back to her sister just in time for them to perform life-saving surgery to remove the little girl's tumor and then stay with the girl as her loyal and loving robo-pet, and everyone lives happily ever after. Except Upper Decks. Hella depressing episode. La Decks. That's what I meant. Lower Decks. Episode starts out seeming normal and then ends depressingly. No, he's talk no about Upper Decker. It's the one where someone poops in the upper part of Picardo toilet and he spends the episode using the ship's resources to find the culprit, breaking orders from his current rescue assignment. It's a classic. There are no toilets on the Enterprise. They just beam the poop right out of your colon. In fact, that's what Chief O'Brien spends most of his day doing. Skyping my grandma. A severely depressed teenager is able to live a happy, healthy life due to pharmaceutical research and advances in medical technology. Every copy of WinRAR would be paid for and registered in the White Mirror universe. Everyone lives simple, placid lives surrounded by their loved ones, socializing and making art without concern for tomorrow. Thanks for watching LWIAR 2. The best of all time r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out the original LWIAR channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe.